Good evening, good morning. This is Harry from Hotspur TV, and if you deep it, I don't even know I'm actually having to make this video. But yeah, there's been a lot of talk about Lukaku to Tottenham, and I know some other YouTubers actually commented about this. Um, I didn't watch for the content, so I don't know what everyone said, but the consensus is that we don't want him. But obviously, if Lukaku to Tottenham is a weird one to me because if we were under Conte, I'd say yes, because obviously Lukaku started under Conte. But under Ange, I think Lukaku to Tottenham is just a waste of time, if I'm being honest. Spurs need a mobile striker. And like I said, this is another episode of Fixing Tottenham. And Fixing Tottenham is, in my opinion, breaking Tottenham even more if you sign someone like Lukaku. I'll go into Lukaku in a bit, but let's just think about him more as a player first. He plays like a long ball style, I guess, like as a target man. Ange doesn't really necessarily play with a target man. I know Richarlison has to hold the ball up in some transitions, but Lukaku really isn't the sort of player like Richarlison is. Richarlison doesn't stop running. For all his faults that everyone wants to point out at the moment, he still works really hard and still presses. Have you ever seen Lukaku press? No. So also with Lukaku, you have to build the team all around him. In Ange's system, supposedly, we don't really have like a main man, like obviously like with Harry Kane, I guess, even though Kane played very well under Ange in the short spell we had under him, but we don't really base the team around one player. It's all collective, supposedly, and everyone contributes. And Lukaku is also just as a player, he's very one dimensional. Yes, he can hold the ball up, but can he sprint and go past players? No. I guess his positive is that he's quite explosive. He's very tall. He can probably win a lot of headers, but he's not that mobile. You don't see Lukaku move around the pitch that much. If you guys notice in the system we play, Richarlison, despite the fact he tends to stay in the middle in most times, he does drift, and Son comes inside. I've seen that happen a few times. And Kulusevski, as you know, comes inside. The inverted fullbacks I spoke about before come inside, so naturally some of the attackers are going to go wide. And Lukaku, for me, he can't do that job. I see the guy in my picture, Gift Auburn's been there with us. He is going to probably cost, I don't know if it costs around the same price or half the price, because I don't know what Chelsea even want for Lukaku, because they just want to get him off his books, I think. But Gift Auburn, people will say, oh, he's a more of a gamble, yeah. And obviously he does cost less. But I'd say he'd more likely to fit into the system because he's a more of a pacey striker. He can drift wide. He can probably play wide as well, which gives us more options because we are struggling in that area. Let's be honest. Son and Kuda haven't played well, and obviously Richarlison needs service to do well. So even if Gift Gordon comes in and plays as a winger, could you see Lukaku doing that job? No. But let's talk about Lukaku as a person because Lukaku, as you know, he left Inter Milan, and then he said he wanted to go back. Then he's gone back, and then now I don't know where he wants to go back. I think I heard Juventus like the other week. But this is what I'm saying. He's not a man of his word. He seems to just say stuff. Also, unfortunately, Lukaku gives me a lot of, gosh, people are going to hate me bring this up, Adebayor vibes. But if you guys remember, Adebayor came to Spurs on loan for a year. Was probably one of our best players that season under Harry. He then went back to City. We signed him on a permanent eventually, and City, I think, paid half his wages or something like that. Eventually, we let Adebayor go on, I think, on like a free or like for a few million. It was a really pointless waste of time. But Adebayor, like Lukaku, they're similar, I guess, both in stature in terms of like the size and the height, and also the manner in which they play. Even though I'd argue Adebayor probably was a better player than him. This is my opinion. But Lukaku is just, apart from that, I think he's lazier even than Adebayor. He's just, when he wants to play, he'll play. When he doesn't want to play, he'll play. That's the issue we had with Adebayor. And I just think, again, it will just be another sort of sign like that. Well, Lukaku might come in and do like a job. Say he might score a few headed goals here and there. But he's not, I don't think he's mobile enough to play in this system. And some may argue, and this is one of the positives, I guess, if we ever brought him in, he might come here with something to prove. But if we think of him as a player, if we're not going to take Vlahovic because of the same reasons that he's too one-dimensional, we shouldn't really be talking about Lukaku because they're quite similar again. He's just a one-dimensional hold-up player, and whilst we do need someone to hold the ball up to allow the others to get into the game, just naturally as strikers, that's their job, right? He's not the answer because he doesn't bring anything much else. he might get the odd header, and that's about it. And we need someone ideally with pace. Lukaku lacks pace. Someone ideally who can drift and come back. He's not the one. Lukaku ain't the one, and I really hope this doesn't come off because the talk apparently is getting a lot, stronger as long as the window's still open, and there's a few days that we've got left. But we really need to get this Gift Orban deal tied up, or someone like that with pace. My first choice was actually Colin Moani, but he's going PSG now because reportedly Levy took too long to formulate an offer. So, yeah. Like I said, Harry out and Lukaku, no way, no thank you.